Hello and welcome back to the channel. So this video I realised I'd kept kind of touching on the fact that I was going to hospital appointments and stuff and never concluded that chapter, even though it feels kind of like it's done, kind of like it's not. And here's why. So these sit-down vlogs are filmed retrospectively. I did get some clips of hospital bits and pieces to show you and to kind of talk through. But basically, I think it was like the back end of last year, maybe the beginning of this year, I was tired all the time and I couldn't work out why. I'd get to the top of the stairs, I'd be out of breath, which I kind of still am now actually, weirdly, because I have just walked upstairs. But I was just exhausted, and I mean like can't move, exhausted, shattered, just wanted to sleep all the time. I am not a napping person. I can't nap. I try and nap, it doesn't work for me. And no matter what I did, I was getting good 8 hours sleep. I'd stop, all the things that would have affected it, I've changed. Nothing was helping. So I finally kind of went to the doctors. I guess I kind of just put it down to I work a lot, I train a lot, and that's fine. But then when it wasn't getting better, it was like, well, I've always worked a lot and trained a lot and lifed a lot and it's been fine. So why is it not now? Anyway, went to the doctors, had some bloods taken and got an appointment for an echocardiogram because one of the symptoms I was having was that my heart rate was rocketing up to like above 200 beats per minute, which if you don't know your average heart rate, an average person's heart rate should be at least under 100. Ideally between kind of 60 and 80, depending on age, all that kind of thing. And it wasn't always when I was training. Sometimes when I was training it was going up, which you would expect, which is fine, but not that high. And it was kind of borderline dangerous levels of high. So I started really getting into the habit of keeping an eye on my heart rate. So they booked me for an ECG, a tracing of my heart, basically, which showed some changes. The changes it showed, I'm not going to go into medical terms because I'm just not. It showed that there was a possibility, and some people might recognise this because it's been happening a lot more frequently. Whether it's been happening a lot more frequently or because we see it a lot more, different video I'm sure altogether, but of kind of sudden cardiac arrest. Yeah, not what I wanted to hear actually. I sent it to a couple of my friends and they were like, yeah, your heart tracing shouldn't look like that. But it did. And the blood showed that I was anemic, which I kind of knew. Post bodybuilding show, I became anemic anyway, so I'd started taking supplements. Anyway, long story short, GP was great. Everything kind of got rushed through quite quickly. And they booked me in for another ECG like a week later. They'd booked in for a 24-hour tape and they'd booked in for a scan of my heart to see what was going on. And that was kind of all going on when I was dipping in and out of other videos. You'll see on my kind of post-Austria video, that was the day before my Austria race was when I had the appointment with the consultant to kind of consolidate all of these results and to find out what was going on. So I'd still had everything booked. I was told, keep training, keep doing what you're doing. I am a nurse. I do train a lot. I have got a brain and was being very sensible. But I didn't want to stop training. I had big races coming up. I had things to train for. And if it turned out to be nothing, I didn't want to not be ready for those things. And if it turned out to be something, then fine. I could, I will deal with that when I get to it. So I didn't want to change it too much. But I think retrospectively, it was affecting me a lot more than I thought maybe it was. So yeah, let the hospital appointments begin. But don't worry, the video is not all hospital appointments and me sitting down vlogging. There is a reveal at the end of my next race and next week's video as well. And I came up with quite an innovative way of deciding on my next race, which you'll see at the end. So stick around. So I reckon I probably would have got a Strava record on this particular route in and out of the departments at the hospital.
Obviously I did not Strava it, but yeah, seemed like I spent many days kind of consecutively going in and out of here, which is fine. It's just a bit tedious to try and fit it into your life, but it was okay. Everyone was really helpful, so it wasn't a problem. I didn't appreciate, however, the heart transplant leaflets. If there is anything that's going to scare you, it is likely that.
So that is me back from the appointment to get my heart monitor fitted. It's nothing particularly exciting, although it feels like I've got a new medal and just some stickers. So this is going to stay on for 24 hours, and basically just I've got a little diary thing that I have to write out each time I get a symptom, if I get out of breath, and just carry on my day as normal, which is handy because I've got work this afternoon. So yeah, I think I feel okay. I feel fine about it. I'm not majorly stressing about it. I'm no point in me panicking without a reason to. So until I get an actual answer, then I can kind of worry about it. So I've just been carrying on as normal, doing my running, going to the gym. Nobody's told me not to, and the likelihood is this has been going on since October. So yeah, we'll just see how this goes. Got to drop it off again in the morning, and then I have an echo, which is basically a scan of my heart next week, I think. No, next week is another ECG, and then the week after that is an echo scan, like scan to make sure it's working, and see what's going on. And
this was the echo, and the radiologist actually bet his house and mortgage on, based on my symptoms, something not being wrong. So I haven't got a new house. Long story short, I had the appointment. It was a video consultation with the consultant to consolidate all the results of everything. It was actually the day before the UTMB Austria race, so I was sat in a hotel room. And basically, my heart works. Some could possibly argue otherwise, but no, I have a heart and it does actually work. It's a little bit big and slightly on a tilt. It is fine. It's probably from the training that I do anyway, and it's just tilted because it's trying to find somewhere to go, I guess. What he did diagnose was a chronic anemia, which I had an indication of. I was anemic after the show, and I've been taking supplements ever since. My diet's good, my sleep's good, my rest's good. There's not an awful lot they can do, which is great. It means that I'm kind of gonna live with this fatigue, I guess. I'm been diagnosed with chronic fatigue, which for me is just their way of telling me my symptoms. Like, you don't need to tell me, I know I'm always tired. But yeah, so that was kind of the sum of that, and what he thinks might have caused the changes was probably a post-viral fatigue slash when I was really ill. And when I say I was ill, there was not much that could make me stay in bed for, I think it was 4 days in the end. I was so unwell. And no, I didn't go to the doctors. No, I didn't do anything about it because we're nurses, and I just don't think we do that very much. We just kind of go, well, I'm ill. There's nothing anyone can do. So yeah, it's probably because of that. So I don't need to monitor my heart rate. I don't need to panic that my heart's going to stop beating. And as much as I didn't think it was affecting me, I cried for a good 20 minutes after hanging up from that appointment. Sat in a hotel room in Austria, just crying on my own, as you do. So clearly it was affecting me a lot more, and I do go into my kind of post-UTMB thoughts, but that obviously had an effect on it. So yeah, so we're good, apart from this fatigue and the fact that there's nothing much they can do about it, which kind of leads me on to next week's video. Physically, I've been coping okay, kind of scheduled my training accordingly, introduced more breaks. Mentally, however, it's so annoying. Like, one day you can be absolutely fine, not a problem, and then the next day you get up and, like, just going downstairs and eating breakfast feels like you can't do anything else. Mentally, that's hard for me. I like to do things. I like to get things done. I do work full time. I do have a life. do want to achieve things. So that's difficult, and so my next video, I've got a 3-part series. It's kind of on rest and recovery, believe it or not, which came about before, the ideas came about beforehand. So it's a 3-part series with practical advice, basically, on how to rest, how to recover whilst juggling everything and achieving the goals that you want to achieve. So next week's video will be about kind of mental health, not in a medical way, but in a practical way of how I personally look after my mental health whilst training so much, living my life, that kind of thing. So it's not just going over what you read in books and what people tell you should do. It's actual practical ways of putting those things into place, and hopefully give some people some tips on what they can take away. So if that sounds like it could be of interest to you, please remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and those series are coming up. The other 2 cover nutrition and the next one covers sleep. So yeah, I just thought we'll put the mental health one in first because that's what's been affecting me the most now. That'll be next week's video, but I did promise to show you my new innovative way of deciding on a race. I decided I wanted to run 100 miles. Now, me being me, instantly looked for a 100-mile race. Unfortunately, there was only kind of 2 or 3 at the end of this year that would allow me to enter without having done a 50-mile race prior to that. It doesn't work out great logistically with a couple of other commitments that I have, so I let someone else decide.
Because I'm rubbish at making decisions. Should I run 50 miles on September the 7th?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a yes. Why?
To stretch your legs.
To stretch your legs. Perfect.
So it looks like we're running 50 miles on the 7th of September. It's the White Horse Ultra Trail, which actually is in the village next door to my mum's village, which is really good. And the reason I couldn't decide is because I've got a 50-kilometre... It's not a race, it is a race, it's an Ultra X race, but I'm there as a guardian. I'm going to go and do that the week after the 50 miles, so fingers crossed, it'll be fine. I've got a really cool little support crew as well, so my friends are coming and they're going to be there at the checkpoints. So yeah, it's exciting, and like Bo said, just going to go and stretch our legs. Bo's actually my cousin's little boy, and they were over in Yorkshire a couple of weeks ago. And I couldn't make the decision, and I thought that was the best way to do it. So yeah, we're running 50 miles. Thank you for sticking around. If you watched to the end of this video, please like, please subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you next week, where we talk about practical things to help keep your mental health on track while training. Take care.